And what the Jews had done that ran the temple, the Sadducees, who were the owners of the temple enterprise and who had become very rich through that, they had managed to convince the people, consistent with the rabbis, that you purchase your redemption. And so here came the people putting their money in, and then Jesus saw a widow. And the widow came by, and she only had 2 cents. She put both in there to go home and die. Just prior to that, the last thing he had said in Luke's gospel to the people was this: beware of the scribes. They devour widows' houses. I don't know what you've heard about the widow giving her 2 mites. That is not an example of Christian giving. That's an example of how corrupt religion becomes when it takes the last 2 cents out of the hands of a widow who has to go home and die while the fat cats unload all the cash. Jesus immediately said to his disciples, "This temple is coming down."
In Samoa, they are called Lupe Faalele, Soaring Doves. They are men sent forth as doves to care for God's flock. Because they are considered God's anointed, they are accorded the highest respect and honor. They number among the wealthiest in the community. Like ancient demigods, they wield godlike powers. Many feel wealth and status have made many Lupe Faalele abusive and unsympathetic to the plight of the poor and powerless.
It was Malietoa that did it. Malietoa said before he died, "Now Samoa, I will take all the glory of a paramount chief down to my grave. I'm going down to my grave with all of them. But Samoa, now they're to all the land." The people were bringing food for Malietoa from different places. So when missionaries arrived, Malietoa said, "You will have my south." That means the feeding that my people are giving me, I give them to you. That's why in every village in the past, the pastors get food from every family of his congregation. Why? Because of what Malietoa had said. That was declared in the very beginning.
We've been brought up in a culture where everything goes to the church. Everything is about the pastor, which is okay. But at the end of the day, we give that love, we give that affection. We expect the church to reciprocate mainly because that's what God will do. But it's not happening at the moment. According to the pastors at the moment, is that we're feeding them the Word of God. Are they really feeding them the Word of God? I'm not going to answer that question. You answer that yourself.
It's been said that salt water cures all wounds. In Samoa, there is no shortage of salt water, just as there is no shortage of churches, the go-to places for spiritual wounds. Salt water is free. Churches cost money, lots of money, a fact which led Samoan poet Eti Sa'anga to remark, "The way to heaven is getting too expensive."
What's happening now, the uproar is that the church is making the people poor. It may be right because a lot of people who are saying these things are actually people who are living through the system.
The power behind the system are the Lupe Faalele, or pastors. Anthropologist Felix Keesing said of them, "The pastor is given food contributions and service by the villagers, such as was formerly rendered to the spirits and the priests. In fact, he is regarded almost as a god."
And that's because, like I said, we love our churches and we love God. And here in Samoa, there is absolutely no question about it. I speak as a chief in the village, and I speak as a church member. We absolutely treat them like gods. We give them the best of everything. But the problem is, a lot of these poor people cannot give. They've got nothing to give. They are poor enough as it is. And yet the church every Sunday is demanding something from them.
2 out of 3 Samoans live off the land, making Samoa essentially a nation of farmers. Though government programs have infused some life into the economy, many farmers struggle still.
We grew up in a family that depended on the plantation for a living, and if you read our Village Voice section, that's the story that's just coming through. It's not because they grew up and said, "We're going to be farmers." That's the only thing that they've seen, and that's where they're resorting to for a living.
Ini se fukau sanga ni rumau kan kongoi fai asing fai ka fo do lang fa kamai I kamai ki kam fai ngal le. Elem fai ku ai loka ma fuka ku mala fo I le inga ia mo pe le lang pui nga malang kau si. Le nga ka ia ke ko ngingo fo. Ya ai ma se hui la ko lang ngo fu mai ai ngam kap po ya wa hui fa fenga yo uma yu ke ka wa vere fa ki ngo le aso wa le ko si ngo wai.
In the past, farmers sold their own produce. These days, many unload them on sellers like Ropati Anesi, who resell them for a profit.
Sau la song fu ya kwa wal esia ku kongol make ki mai la sa melanga o le pe wo mai la foi po nga awale ai sa fa ka I ngala ko ku le ya mai le ya ma ko ngi fai poloka wai ma ko ke ngo fu mai la song fu e ka u la fo I le ko nga I ngo ma ko fa kom fai lo ma ko ya ko fa ka wa ko ni ska ka fo e o mai ma o me mo ya o ko ke la ko ka I bo ye o ko ki ka le si le se ma ma
apa pe ave ka nga lu fe ka ave ka silima awa soyo ko se la wa ka
e o mai la foi fa ko e pule sa lo ko ana ko fa ngola ko me a o ka I kan nge ka fa ka winga mai le o ele fai ngo kam fai o ke a egal le o ye le malo se le ngi le o ke mai le o A fola le whaiwhakoanga le se furuongo ka. I le lua sukala. I le mwhaingo ua e pe a whaingo o mai al kankaro se laukala. Se laukala a maka mai e li whakaunga mai o kanga. Ngō kango le ka mwhainga inga ia maua mai le se laukala nga. Ma se whaupoponga i rungo le polofiki. Inga e mawhaingo whaunganga lea i o le polofiki ngā kausiero a inga. Ai koe whaalu se laukala inga i mawhainga koe ako. Kupu pēr maola pēr lea hori. E pesingisi ki kaiminga i leo kei ai le. Ngai vai kau o leo ranga leo kei ai.
In a typical village, the clergy occupy the top 1% of wage earners. Pastors from the Prime Minister's district make up to 200,000 tala a year. A vulnerable farmer, according to a local NGO, makes roughly 3,100 tala a year. Sellers like Ropati average 20,000.
The government keeps saying that they're lazy and some of them are not working hard enough. If you go to the market now, you can't say that they're lazy because there's lots and lots of taro sitting at the market. The biggest issue at the moment is that they've got no markets to take their products overseas.
We are bringing people here to create a market for them. If we are able to bring in 100,000 a year, that means we do not need to export the goods outside.
To attract people and create a market for farmers, the government proposed a casino. Church elders objected, calling it gambling.
Nā tangata e whailato with foreign passports and whaina enter the plane. E le whasalo.
You can make that whack by a little grass shack with a hair so black hanging down your back. Oh, I'd like to see.
In 2014, Samoa's first casino opened its doors. Members of Parliament later suggested amending the casino law to allow Samoan passport holders. The Prime Minister rejected it.
Le meglio al casino create gambling habits, which is bad for people.
There are more acceptable ways for the locals to try and make an extra buck.
And I would go there tomorrow if only I knew just where it was.
Meanwhile, farmers and sellers like Ropati have yet to experience a climb in revenue because of the casinos.
E ile aso e umale aso mkwale ya saka olo e whaionga bisi. Ia e fo ia se e manguia ia on ka uole po se kou se lau se kou pe kake maua mai lea kai ni mo. On uwhaasoa inga lea o mea whaelo. O la uwhaanga ua onga. Ia marekau se ngō lo ai. Maka marikai au pole hongo, pole wha, i le waweau. Ia o skain pa pengei o mō skain me whaisinga malolo. Ia ai awha pepo e kū merkanga kai luma e o laimanga o mea sosong. E le mwhaingo ka kūanga o le a misirika lana mua o nei asu. O le whainkai e kia. O ngai ua muksi ai le wala laka o au mariko ua mai whangau i aso o mapinga masangi ai e o ke whamua le kamau ai ngā ua le karinga o manga o ngā le whangau. E ua le se kai ni vunga le mawhainga o usu e ngā ku se sikanga ka whamulmule a mai a se lua ka langa se whakau a se suka e whai e se mea ai a la whangau. Paula wal mel kan mi ngai e sa ili ai o e me e ke ko ki fa malu wai po ki ka ele o ngai e lo o se pai pale o fale ka ele kan mi ngai o yai O ke lo ngai vai so ako ako won falu kai. Le winga na ka le fai ngo fi ma ko ngo foi ko ngo fo ngai.
At times, Ropati forgoes basic necessities to save for his family and the usual church obligations.
O pele ke fe o sa ka me fo inga mo au nga le ko. Ai fo ia se la e ke fo ia lo ko ma. Ia male kinga inga fa pe o la kom fa ile ka le sia mo fa le nga pe la ku la ro le man ma. Ye o nga lo ni nga ko pe wa ko fa wingo se o lo fo wa ya. Fa fa ka lo nga ka po le sanka.
A lot of this money, if you look at how the church is spending it, is being wasted. It's being spent on infrastructure that the church does not need. And it's just sitting out there, and some of them are rotting to the ground, while the same people who are asked to give this money are living in really slum-like condition houses next to these big buildings. To me, that's just very sad.
In what some considered poetic justice, the government passed a bill to tax the Lupe Faalele. An official estimated the tax would raise 4.5 million tala to help the nation. The measure brought swift reactions.
Our people were used to serve pastors, and we still do. Who are we to ask them to pay tax when they're the ones who pray for our country and our children every day?
This is another burden to church members. After doing the offering, tithing, and other church obligations, church members will also pay tax for their pastors separately.
Hello, Paulo. O malo umangai. Mameo institution umangai. Fakua ko. O pule umai le ko. Ele se pule pale mai le ko. O mele o le ke il pule. O ke fo ile ko. Mele ko la fonga. O e ke la fonga sala la ko.
If the ministers would have stayed home and do what they're supposed to do, instead of going out and like playing golf, for example, so the government feels that, okay, they probably have money, or they're going to go out and buy new cars and build new houses.
E pa wale ka wo yo nga ole seling. Awa ale lama le seling. Okay, umia. Elim foi nga lava se profit ke le o ke. Okay mo.
Samoans are a proud people, a trait which author N.A. Rowe noted made them easy targets for solicitors. Contributions are publicly announced. This promotes rivalry, and rivalry carefully fostered spurs the flow of cash into the Lupe Faalele's and churches' coffers.
And there's no doubt about it. Some of these churches in Samoa have a lot of money in the bank. Some of them have even talked about setting up bank and financial institutions. And if you look at some of these buildings, boy, they're impressive by Samoan standards. So really, if you've got the ability to do all that, surely you should have the ability to help some of these people.
They want to be known that they built the biggest church in Samoa. And then another village followed it. And then another denomination followed it. And now they start building new ones, demolish old ones and build new ones.
One of the first things I discourage our people, no loans to give to the church. If I find out that you have loaned, I will take your money back to you. It is not right, it's not ethical, it is not biblical.
So se kaka soifua Kongo Samoa lem fai ngong kua le ka iala le po le au ngale o lo fa mo ngo e ai le nga ke o mai le malos o le fo nga ke fo ai le manguia Yo kaku kanga kai soskai.
Faltua to ina ya mina sai foloi se lauta la Rosalia to filima nupa ia fanga malo e luas fuluta la tua ta kono to ina ya pai lasi tu le fano e tasi le se lauta la
O tangata e ho anga e give for God. They always have no problem. Monies keep flowing into their heads. Ao ka piko sini o ai e wha maki vai. O tangata fo e they don't give to culture. You will find they are perpetually poor. There is a saying in Samoa, the more you give, the more you receive.
We bought our minister 150,000 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. And at the time, we feel that is fair and that is right for us to donate and also give into our ministers. Last assessment we have with our minister's house and the hall will cost around 500,000 tala. Either we go and finance these buildings and then we pay the loan, or we fundraise until we get this money, or maybe half or three-quarter there, and then we can start building the building and also the hall for the church.
In May 2017, the Congregational Church dedicated the Upeli. Upeli is Samoan for the Hebrew word Hayobel. It commemorates the time when property taken by others for unpaid debts revert to the original owners. The building topped 17 million tala. A letter to the Observer editor reflected how some felt.
The church has put financial burden on families to build magnificent structures that have no meaning or bearing in the life of anyone. They are a senseless waste of money, and it negates and contradicts the true purpose of Christianity. These institutions are loaded with money, yet they contribute nothing to the upkeep of social infrastructures which the common man and foreign countries build. They are basically freeloaders.
The minister may be supposed to contribute, but if he's silent and he doesn't say anything, then the church members and the congregation will keep doing what they feel is that, okay, I think this is the only way to have it, is build the big churches.
It's really, really sad for Samoa because, you know, say that those church buildings will be able to house some of these people on a daily basis, that would be great. The problem is these people then go on and live in third world country conditions while those church buildings are sitting there eating up all the money and all the electricity, and a lot more money is spent to open those buildings. It's costing this country a great deal.
But the Lupe Faalele, some say, are under pressure to leave behind the legacies. Congregations too evaluate a pastor by his knowledge of culture and by the positions or titles he holds, a fact which has prompted competition and contention among pastors and members themselves. A pastor is also evaluated by the programs or churches he builds.
O isa nga lue ai ma ko ho. Inga im fayonga ala mai mangu ya lai. Le ka polo wai le va pe nga ngo lai fa wi va pe ka po isa ho. Isi me le ngo lai fa na ka po I kang kai ko ngo. Ole malu ole falsang fa pe nga nga fa usia ho engis ko a wala nga mau ki sa. Ke awa ka ka ingo o alo ma fa nga fu ai ma si so ka ko o wala mangu ya.
Dr. Mosese Mailo noted, building huge buildings comes from the pockets of the people. It is making them poor.
Buildings are very important, but the spiritual lives of people are far more. Church is about people. Buildings are secondary.
You can still go to church, but you don't have to contribute.
But there are ways to spur contributions: praise, shaming, sermons, guilt, and public announcements. Then there's the belief gifts for pastors gauged one's spirituality. Bad theology may explain the hemorrhage of members in recent years. In 2016, American Samoa's Congregational Church reportedly lost over 16,000 members. Census taker Tia Saloti wrote, "Elders showed little concern. As long as they are comfortably cared for by their congregations, there's no real issue in numbers." In the market, men like the late Kitiona took it upon themselves to pray for the sellers when a Lupe Faalele ceased to show. Elsewhere, one still hears a call for family evening devotions. Leading them had traditionally been the father's duty. Ropati has found it necessary to delegate this responsibility. Struggling with the high cost of living, some parents force their children to sell on the streets, prompting outcry of child labor. To sell, children sometimes harass visitors.
If you look at what's happening in Samoa, it's not just Samoa. It is the way it is all over the world. Except the difference is, say in Australia and US, people have a bit more money there. In Samoa, we've got the same problem, except people are a lot poorer here.
Still, many like Ropati continue to give, believing that giving earns them a place in heaven. In the state of California, Samoan churches have sprung up in big cities, taking on the role of villages. Here, pastors and deacons assume the role of high chiefs and talking chiefs, respectively. American anthropologist Brad Shore noted that high chiefs or ali'i represent dignity, impulse denial, and control. The more highly ranked of them is called sa'o, literally the straight one or correct one. Talking chiefs are the ali'i's antithesis. Shore's informants described them as pi'o-pi'o or kuluku, crooked. Said Shore, by crooked is meant cunning or skillfully manipulative with an eye to self-interest. One of the churches is this one in the county of Los Angeles. Founded in 1964, the church acquired a reputation as Nu'umalosi, or strong village. In 2014, members celebrated its 50th anniversary. It culminated in the first General Church Assembly held outside the islands. Simmering beneath the celebration were allegations of clergy sexual abuse. written testimony by a young girl revealed the pastor's boldness in soliciting sex from her and a friend.
It was 1 a.m. Me and Ella were sharing the same hotel room. Tama kept texting Ella to come down to his room because Tana and some other grown-ups left. Ella kept saying, "No, I can't come." But he kept texting her like 5 times to come to his room and turn up. Then Ella said, "No, I'm with Nay." He texts back saying, "Oh, bring her." Then Ella said, "Then what?" Tama texts back saying, "Threesome, ha ha ha."
Church member Ida Mutu describes what followed after she and her husband Panama learned of the incident.
I could not believe that my pastor would do something like this. When we went home and we discussed it, and then and that's where Panama had suggested also, things that happen like this needs to be brought up to the koinga of the pulenga. And I said, whatever it takes, but this cannot be just hush, 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 and not address.
Ida opened a Pandora's box when she questioned the pastor.
It just came out, o te tūlai atu maleava maliminga o te tauai. Pastor, e iei mea wa tupu te tonu le ekalesia nei. E te tau lavanga ieis se aso le ekalesia. E tala noa ina ai mea wa te tupu te tonu le ekalesia nei. He said very quietly, "Wa le lei o le awhai le fongo the coming Sunday." And I said, "Thank you." And I sat down. But it was so quiet. But quiet, but you can feel the something else is in the air.
That something else, Ida noted, was disdain. She had disrespected a man of God. Respect is a sacred aspect of Samoan life. It is rooted in the word va, literally space or gap. Va defines the relationship between God and man and between men. By calling to account the pastor, Ida broke a sacred va.
When we went to our car, an elderly woman member approached me and said to me that I was out of line in standing up and speaking.
The fallout continued when the church reconvened and the chairman asked the family of one victim to speak.
Te kaikai ki a kongo se whakali. A maka mai le whiwhinge lenga ku I lunga last Sunday. A maka mai le whiwhinge ngā. So right away I knew it was me. I have never seen the church so full. I mean, inside packed, outside by the windows on the side and the foyer side. And even the parking lot, I could not believe. But when I stood up, I saw all this.
Ida began by acknowledging the va and apologizing for what members perceived as lack of respect.
At the end, I said, "Pastor, in front of the congregation, the body of Jesus Christ, did you molest little?" Boy, the commotion that was going on in there. But you know what? It did not bother me. And after I spoke, his wife stood up and went and sat by him. And after that, I sat down.
Theologian Miam Kim wrote that one severe problem churches in general have to face when dealing with child abuse issues is the concern for reputation. Churches more often than not try to cover up. In Ida's church, there was an attempt to protect the pastor. What made the incident all the more scandalous is the implied complicity of the pastor's wife.
About 12 midnight, me, Ella, and Tina were getting ready to sleep in the living room. Tama was inside the room when he called me and Ella inside. It was about 1:15 a.m. He was laying on the bed with no shirt on and just a blanket on. He asked me 3 times to come sit on the bed, but I said no, it's okay. Then that was when he started talking to me about sex. I left the room and it was 2:45 a.m. Tina and Ella were already asleep. I thought Tina was going to wait up for me, but no.
Before the congregation, the pastor would neither confirm nor deny the accusations. He left with material and monetary gifts. What of the victims?
And I'm saying this very lightly.
Before Christianity, there were a li'ipaia, or sacred chiefs. According to Samoan historian Malama Malaysia, they wielded godlike powers which exempted them from normal codes of behavior. Pastors became the new sacred chiefs. They were also God's visible substitutes, or suiva'ia.
That's why the village people regard the whaiwhiau o tangata I mamalu. E whaaloalo la iele nu aisea, because o lea alu atu I le suafa o lea li.
Congregational churches revolve around pastors. The pastor is tama, or father. His wife is tina, or mother. The rest of the church, for all practical purposes, are children. Biological or spiritual, tama and tina are blameless. They don't go to the children come to them. This parent-children relationship follows the positional and hierarchical division between a ruling class of clergy and a passive and obedient laity. Bible verses like "touch not the Lord's anointed" or "submit to their authority" sustain the division and encourage a fear of men. Though no church elder or officer stood with Ida, her courage prompted the mother of one victim to come forward.
And hearing what she had to say, I said, it's still my head shake. How, a man of the cloth. Mokwale aise, fefe, there's no fear in him in the Lord. And that's what angers me. Someone that will use the pulpit for his evil desires.
The same pulpit protects the pastor. Samoan scholar Alfred Refiti noted, English missionary John Williams wanted to fashion churches after the Samoan round falitele. The elongated Samoan faleafulau with its two sacred ends, however, became the preferred form. One of the fale's sacred ends became the public entrance. The remaining sacred end contained the pulpit, the pastor's private space. Its Samoan designation, pulila'a, literally means the stand or step of authority or power. Explicit in the care for pastors is the belief that they are to be addressed with absolute respect. Ida felt the wrath of church members when she appeared to have violated that respect.
I was like someone like disease or something with the mafkanga kinga. Person I always kind of turned to for that friendship, like where I was not getting it anymore from the mafkanga, was my husband. When we would meet every Sunday, when I would go there and shake their hands, they would move their hand away from me, but I don't care. I just pet their hand. A member, Mafkanga Kinga, and she walks by. I was sitting next to my sister, and she walked by and she hits me on the side of my arm. And I looked at her, and then I smiled, and she goes, "Ee!" like that, like she's angry with me. If my sister wasn't sitting next to me, I would be sitting by myself, because they would come and kind of sit away from me. That happened throughout the whole time for quite many Sundays before things changed.
Before they did, Ida wrestled with doubt. It was then that a stranger approached her at a local market with a reminder.
God, and then he raised his hand. God is in you. God bless you. I was stunned. And when the man left and when I turned, that's when I felt, it seemed like and so I'm walking toward where Pangama was, and he was at the checkout. I said, something happened to me back there. He said, what? There's a man that came in, and I told him what had happened. And he says, yeah. I said, yeah. And so after we left and we're coming to the, going out and going to the car, and I said, you know what, I gotta go back. I gotta go find this man. And he says, no, he's probably gone already. I gotta go find him. He said, Ida, you know what? I will live on Arukamalo. And then I looked and I was, oh, okay.
Ida survived the hostility. In spite of the testimonies, supporters insist the pastor did well. He started a cultural program, expanded the church, and built a memorial. But he also left the church in spiritual disarray.
What are we doing for the victims? Are there any counseling that's going on to help the victims? Well, obviously I didn't see anything.
Victims Aboard runs a canvas of hope, and this canvas of hope is strategically managed in a way so that it's like home to the victims that are brought in.
My name is Annie. I'm 20 years in Motor Sam. I'm from Marcelo, uncle.
I'm wrong, Martha. Sumari, di Maniosa Sam. No, sorry. Masing ako usually sa Manutia. No, my two name. My step father. Mananaw sa Nufoy Walang Valley.
Mainly we deal with young girls being raped by their biological fathers, young girls being raped by their stepfathers.
Sexual abuse of little ones by their fathers is devastating. What happens when the abuse is committed by a spiritual father? American pastor John Thill said, when that happens, the pastor has raped the bride of Christ. Miam Kim noted in the Gospel, little ones does not only mean small and defenseless, but also vulnerable. It's always about the stronger one oppressing, abusing, or harming the vulnerable or powerless one.
Sexual victims, it's quite hard to talk about it, but it's the reality that we face the trauma every day.
Based on what I've seen in some of the stories that I've read and some of the stories that we've researched in this newspaper, there's a lot of abuse, such as abuse of money, such as abuse, obviously sexual abuse, such as mental abuse. Yes, there is abuse.
That are equipped to help them.
Yes, they might have been trained, and sometimes you really have to wonder what are they actually being taught while at that training, because they come out. And some of the things they do, you look at it and go, wow, in the natural, you'd think that just doesn't make sense. Now, if we say that as church members that the supernatural is where we're supposed to work in terms of the spirit, If it doesn't look good in the natural, if it doesn't look right in the natural, if it's wrong in the natural, I'm telling you, spiritually, it's wrong.
Until recently, seminary trainings were not unlike prison or military hazings. On their first year, students were subjected to the abusive rule of third and fourth year students. This led to acts of retribution, said one elder, and in one case, death.
Abuse le me momo. Le power mal authority po le e tausanga ia I lunga. Wa faalia le lato fia pule mal fia malos. Wa so on faia o po ia o atu le e fo watu lomo I tono seminary. Ya o le se faaloalo. Ma se fia vatai.
Younger students were telling you, who is up there in age, you know, telling you to go and take the rubbish or do this and do that, follow what I'm telling you to do, or go fetch something. Someone telling you to stand up and turn around, let me see what you're wearing. You know, are you following what we told you to do? You know, those are some of the things that at the time when I first came in, it didn't make sense to me.
When a younger student told Stephen's children he was disciplining their parents because the children broke a curfew, Amene decided enough was enough.
I said, okay, off with the mu'mu'u and on with my pants. And I said, I'm going straight over there and I'm gonna, you know, this is our last time. This is, I guess, a way out. So I walked up and I saw my husband, you know, getting ready, bringing the chairs and the table, and he said, "Hey, family alway." And I said, "Wa umaka wa, we're gonna leave." The fourth year was not at the home, and in my mind I said, "Well, I guess God intervened at this time because I would have done something that would have gotten us kicked out." A fourth year is supposed to take and lead them, be a model, and not to, you know, feel like oppressing them. I don't know if that's the right word.
Informants note that some Lupe Faalele return from the seminaries with worsened attitudes. They insist on being addressed as Reverend, Tama, or Tina. They abuse congregations, embezzle money, and indeed expect to be treated as gods. Ida's former pastor still claims he's innocent. Senior elders reportedly fought for his reinstatement, insisting he's a talented man. The church needs him. Amene Tukumoeatu has reservations reinstating pastors who commit sexual immorality. At the seminary, she witnessed what one source called a striptease dance initiated by the pastor or principal's wife for a graduating class. The principal was let go from the seminary, but was later called to pastor a church.
Ke le o le kalingi o lo mia ele fatua male whaiwhiau. And I feel that's why they're called. But of course, if you look at what happened and what we've been through or what I've seen or what we know, you know, it may be all fun and games, but of course you kind of wonder, you know, is this what we're actually called to do?
Most of the leaders don't really believe. Yes, they go to church, but they don't really believe, have a personal conviction about who God is and who Jesus is and who the Holy Spirit is. Yes, it is just a matter of form, a matter of ritual, a matter of practice, but it's not really, they do not have a personal, that's where I'm coming from, there's a personal relationship with this amazing God who created the heavens and the earth.
Se mea le fiku po le valu e ka e awa e. A sau le ave e mo sau le ko man ko ko mo e. Ia ka fa ma ko e se mo. A va pe ka le fa e mo ke le o se. Ia ona mo lo fo. E pe ole ma fo ngale ngalinga ma ko e se. O nga pe ma ko ka o fia nga wenga le kanisia. Ia o lunga nga ka o finga o ma ko ia ka.
Francis's family was not poor by Samoa's standards. Both Francis and his wife were gainfully employed and ran a small business. In 2010, everything changed when village chiefs wanted more land to expand this home for the pastor.
E o mau malanga ka lia ko inga o fufuanga nga le tau na me I mai kua whainga ngā ruenga. Ka wa a mga e whanau tele anu e luma, I po le anu fo I luma.
But relationships quickly soured when church members breached the agreement.
Ina wa mata ngā ruenga sa matua ia wa o lito whanga ia whaiwhiau ia sa lango mau kua mai a I pe sa whanga ina fo leo lutu ia sa wa lewa. E whai makua oi fo le leo makua inga ma le kanesia ma le maanga wa vene. A leo koe o mai ngi koe lito whanga ia whaiwhiau ia. Ia o nau le ia whaasau ke le kua ngā ruenga wa leo ngā tasi la mo le mea sa taranoa ina matalia le mātou tamaa.
Tauranga Manono is like most villages, laid back, peaceful, and easygoing. Folks have quick access to stores, private and public schools, and hospitals. In 2012, Tauranga Manono made headlines when Francis's family broke a taboo and sought justice outside the village.
O le anong mako apar tulafono, inga ia amai tulafono nga mako ngar kofan mako ainga ngātai. Ia ma o vele ma mea wa le whiwhielo lau loko. Fo lelo lau loko whao ngāre maru si anga whaale nuu. Ia keinse a mako ona le taun mato e vese au lotu le la kore akar ko unga. E le kaumo o mea se mako vese au loko se il tulafono.
When conflict threatens a relationship, Samoans caution, teo le va, literally tidy the gap. When va is properly maintained, peace and harmony reign.
E tū whaiwhi le vāo le ainga ma le nuu. Ia ma le vāo le ainga ma le atua, vāo o le nuu ma le atua, o le whaiwhi au le au nā le atua o ia. E tū le vā le ia maua se le leinga o le nuu ma ainga.
So I believe pastors and spiritual overseers of Christian churches have been called for the spiritual world to really praying and help, and stand in a gap between the people and God.
The pastor's home is malu, or refuge for the vulnerable. His word is mamana, or powerful.
Pofa masingo ia ngao kala hole le se kala se file mo ngao kala e whawhiwhi mako me maanga ia le ma le konga whasi o kakau ngā ia upu whai e pe e vai mai e sen mako me le whai ia le sifo i ngā whangawanga e le whaiwhia kai me whamasinonga e kū mai o le ngu e le sau wa mea mako.
But even in a place where a pastor wields godlike power, it is not uncommon to hear of villages summarily dismissing or stoning him.
Le history ng uda ngauka, ya. Lespe feo nga hada fa marado, marado ko markus fa mavai. Lespe feo ya aku ia kengere. Sumala ya lale mo vini. Ako iking alo kikiki kau ain fa leo lale. The following day, was a fisher.
For violating the vow, Francis and his family endured more than verbal abuse and disdain.
Ke ka o le o ka o i le pu fa fo no Wa ko nga fa kia mako. O ngai o mako ko ia firsa. O mako le mo ke mala makere mafonga ni me.
Things were very hard, that the family were going through. They had to go through counseling a lot. It was so good because getting to know each other and getting them to talk about it. Because at that time, with the stress that they were going to, they were even against each other, frustrated. Because it's in a village setting, we all know that the high chiefs have the final say.
But high chiefs and pastors also face ambivalence when dealing with serious matters. Which provides the right solution, culture or Christianity? In a book on power relations, social control, and conceptions of good and evil, Bradshaw opened with the murder of a chief in the village of Salailua. In the midst of chaos, the pastor preached forgiveness. Privately, he remarked, if the sons of the murdered chief did not avenge his death, they were no sons of their father.
That is the battle that is going on, and many people do have different opinions and different views about it. Whether the culture is really affirming and helping Christianity, or the spiritual side of things, or the spiritual side of things is becoming a help to the culture.
Could Francis's pastor have made a difference?
Thank you.
To find out, the film crew visited the pastor. The pastor set a 9 o'clock interview. The next day, he changed his mind. He suggested talking to a senior elder instead. A leading elder directed the crew to Malua, the church's headquarters. Attempts to find a substitute proved unsuccessful. Preparations for the church assembly were underway. The General Secretary turned down a request for information and a chance to film the church dedication. On the day of the dedication, the crew attended the traditional gift exchanges. An hour into the event, a worker asked them to leave. The secretary was a bit more forceful. In Faumuina versus Tanungamanono, the Mother Church reportedly assisted the village and local church financially. Francis's family fended for itself.
Kaftaya wil fefeu mektisi nga kai. Wa fefeu mektisi pawanga fefeu o mai mako. Pa malo si au mai ma. Sa o fonu. Ele kali yanga fonu ne ta sanga. Mako ne kai from singonga. Os fefeu mektisi nga mako fa kasi. So o mai from singonga sa o mai fate o mato. Ya o nga ko kali le mako sanga fonu le se I ka penga mako ai. Peta eu avele le makamakaika le o ngu me le makufake ele si poka o mako fale ola vela ne ka o ngal mako fale ngai lo sa wanga ma si vai ngal mato ai ka mai kien ka o ya nga le ma fo lo le besi Puso nga le lo ves kan bosa Eu vela le sonho foi uma força meu o makalongo mai moloto plano ya ma we moloko lo esa ma mo porque miren la colos ko ngale po que sulu po o que van a uma mako sawa mal mako ba ngai e fa le mo mane hu ka o alfa o mai ale ko ingo mai ko mo sa le pe me la me ka le pe uma ko mo fa Omeng makumafo kiminga makuwa boleh ya. Ya ada fifia nengo nama mai malfanga ko nga sa ave ba fo sa ave full. Malfanga ya ko inga E mai awala me foi o ko alo ye ka suainga mo manga ko inga fala. This was the last option I get. Apeo foi lo na fala me fala. Mo ku le mo fanga i luma le fe ko al kanga ka mo mo ala ku ko kanga o ke fa manga fa. At the same time o ke wala au le li ke mina lo fa mai pa ola mai ma ko o le pola me la fa.
Ongi upung e whaalongo il pole.
Ea o mai au mako afu pole na fasioki mako.
Biggest problem we have is we give importance to individual rights, but not communal rights. That is because we follow the Westminster law. And Samoa, the whole basis of Samoa's culture is the pule, the power vested in the chiefs. That is why Samoa has been peaceful.
After what he described as the most harrowing night of his life, Francis and his family were ordered to leave the village before 4 the next evening or suffer the consequences.
Mako ese mai ni ka subu le ya o ngai mea mo mau fi maka wale mako o le ska wale ni venga ave o ko mo fai dali I no nga ma o ngal maka ko ngo fa pe o le mo ki ese numa mai fa ya ko mo ke ko mai ko o le a mo le ko ko ngam la maku ka ya o le ko ka na sa ko la sa mo kau ngai ma fofonga le leo nga ka umaya ka fa ko.
This is all that remains of Francis's home today. A villager told the film crew faulty wiring was responsible. Years after the court decided in favor of Francis's family, they have yet to get full compensation or a visit from a congregational elder.
So se mea ye se mea li yango ye fo se mea ele mfayanga le se au ngale li la ko ele nganga le yai on the preaching on the message of love. There probably could be one or two, but this is a rare occasion.
For Francis, the suggestion that abuse in the church is rare doesn't begin to soften the blow to his family. Problems multiplied after the burning.
Hello? Yo?
This is the bank. We have a problem.
Le whanau noanga ke mingi le whaule corrupto ko ngu o e kalesia. Pe wa vele mako ngau le whakingo mea bongi ma mea wale whiwhia. O manatu tangata ua o Samoa. Mo yele tala leila whanua Samoa. But I guarantee as a whaiwheau. Ile ia o Samoa. O loo iei pēr le pongi sae lungo le atunu.
ona ua mawhai e le whaasamo, ona tā ofi nisi o fuafuanga whaakeusiano.
Long after the burning, the memories still haunt Francis and his wife.
Pea sa ka whaasolo wanga le kaimiu. Ea ka wai fwoi lai ka ngaka luo. Whiliki a mea ngi all the time. Kusa le carry a mea ye. Pea o whai ako fwoi ka wanga li. Olo on mako ai. Le moi moi a. Mai la miki ka ono. Miki ka ono. Ea palasi mai le ku. Mole whainga ruenga lo ko luongo. Kene ka ngaka luo ako kai whawhewhi nga ruenga. Ea ngā o whenga ruenga. O ngā lo whana. O le mesa mawumema o hoi wa ngā tupe o le fole le ma whalene ngā rent. Peta ia newa o mako mou in kongo in. Mako mou in ia o le se me makisulu yang.
After some convincing, Francis returned with the film crew to his former home. He wasn't ready to reconcile with the pastor. It appears the wounds run deep, and neither salt water nor church would heal them.
Makele o koe whese taulanga. O ngā makakounga sa se whatino ngā taulanga lenga approve me awe atano amano. O le whakingo me kaung whakingo ai. Ea kilo fwoi pe ma wakankanga i le lahanga ruenga. E le whekau i le nanga kupe ki lewa ave i le akaunga mangongo. Ai le ave nga kupe ingisi alo fia maua le maalosi mi alo umpe o mei o majority se masinga ave i eke kupe loko. A leo ave me leo nga. Wa ko sisira ngel whanenga kwa. Ele se holo pese whalkani maalo o mea. Ea kasi whewhi au e lua whanengofu.
The film crew visited the pastor a third time. They took a clip from Francis's interview and invited the pastor to comment. He respectfully declined. Could he answer just one question? At the time your neighbors needed comforting, did you go to them? He replied, no, they didn't come to me.
It's sad. It's reminding me of the story about the Samaritan. You know, the Good Samaritan. You know, you've got these guys who walked past him and said, just leave him. Because he didn't ask for help.
Ida still serves in her church. Under new leadership, the vow between members has returned to normal.
I can speak and know that there's no, she's the feel poco and all that. No, there's nothing of that. And even the elderly lady that approached me at the car, even her, I will not allow anyone to avoid me because I will go there and speak to them. And so now it's like, talofa, talofa. Even the men.
There are still concerns, but for now it is teo leva or tidy the gap. A local pastor extols the virtues of a church that emphasizes correct conduct over correct belief. But correct conduct, Pastor Samoa suggests, isn't the start. It is the result of correct belief. Samoans may feel pastors should conduct themselves as a li'i with dignity, denial, and control. But without correct belief, they will behave like some talking chiefs, impulsive, authoritative, and crooked. Occasionally, pastors themselves inform on power and sexual abuse or embezzlement among the Lupe Faalele. And someone dares to ask, as an elderly black preacher did of a cocky young pastor, was you sent? Or did you just went? The Lupe Faalele who just went, some feel, answered the call of a culture that promised godlike powers and placed them on impossible pedestals. They are treated as gods. The ancient temptation, you shall be as gods, is an irresistible one. In the past, Samoans worshipped and called their ancestors demigods, Aitu Tangata, but they also got rid of the Aitu Tangata when they disappoint. Institutional Christianity, too, buttressed the belief in a sacred class of individuals by upholding the division between a professional clergy and a passive laity. Then there's another factor, character. Whether culture or Christianity shapes Lupe Faalele, many agree character reveals whether they were sent or they just went. Behind such calling, they say, is the love of power and things that chink or wail.
The moment our people value money as the ultimate, that's the breaking down of the system here in Samoa. And we see the corruption because of the value of money.
Poverty will always be around. Lupe Faalele come and go. Old churches die and new ones replace them. And workers like Ropati will continue to give, driven by the belief that giving opens the way to heaven.
The challenge is for us pastors, as I can speak for myself, but the challenge is within us. Because if there's changes, leaders will be the first to change.
Responsibility of being a man of God, you take on the accountability of being the man of God. Pray for the pastor.